A lot of time, effort, and political energy is expended in the pursuit of the Iowa Caucus and their 7 electoral college votes. What is the infatuation with the first caucus, Bob?
Well, the infatuation, and we'll have to go back many, many years ago. It sets the tone for many who believe that whoever wins the Iowa caucus will go on to be that party's nominee.
That's not true.
Didn't really work for Huckabee.
No, it didn't. And I've got I've got some history here about things that people that it didn't work for, but people that it did work for.
Yeah.
Right.
And majority of the time, and I'm going to say 85% of the time, he who wins the Iowa caucus goes on to be the nominee.
Yep.
So, you can go back and you can see where Bill Clinton didn't win the Iowa caucus, but he still managed to be president.
Right.
Twice.
Yes,
Twice.
Well, the second time he was.
And you had Bill
challenged.
Huckabee who won.
Mike Huckabee.
Mike Huckabee who
Yeah,
won,
he-
but yeah, I mean, and I mean, you can go back in, like I said, you can go back in history. John Kerry won in 2004. Went on to be the nominee. So
But Bush won in 2000, right?
Bush won in 2000, and in 2004 he was unopposed.
There you go.
So yeah, I mean, and so it's it's. But if you look at the percentage, John Kerry won with 37.6%, but Al Gore won in 2000 with 63%.
So is there, I mean, we see all these polls, and even though the election isn't until November, we started seeing polls back in September, August of last year about who the front runners were?
And the reality of the matter is, for the most part, those polls really don't start counting until you're getting within a month.
But it occurs to me that part of the infatuation with this event is the fact that this is the first time in an election cycle when the people really get to stand up as a community, as a state, as this case, and say, this is who we are, this is who we support.
Now, I think, in terms of format, I think, and this, to me, is worth mentioning. I find the Iowa caucuses to be very interesting in that they are a caucus as opposed to being a primary. So not only do you have to get a certain amount of support and get people to go into a voting booth and check your name off, but they've got to be willing to walk out there on February 2nd in the Iowa winter, which is not known for its mildness,
No.
and actually argue for you. So they're going into a caucus either being declared or undeclared for a candidate.
Yeah.
But then they go in there and they actually have to argue for you in front of other people who may or may not be agreeing with them. So I think in terms of that, it is an important political event. Now, do we put entirely too much stock? A couple of election cycles ago, we had this race at the bottom where all other states were trying to move their primaries or caucuses before Iowa. I think to me, Iowa is a state that can serve as a bellwether in that it is a Midwestern state. It is a farming state. It's a fairly moderate state, although there are a lot of evangelicals, but I'm referring in terms of their politics. It's not overly red, although it is a red state, but it's not a state that's overly extreme, and it does set the pendulum, or it does set the cycle for the rest of the states that are coming after that. And I don't think we should discount New Hampshire in terms of being a bellwether either. So I think those two historically, the aggregate of Iowa and New Hampshire have always been very important.
So Iowa changed to a caucus back in, I believe, 1972.
Yes, 1972.
In the tricky Dick Nixon era, right?
Yep.
So, you got to think there was some understanding that being first, it was going to draw a lot of attention. But I'm not sure that anybody could imagine how much attention. I mean, look at the media coverage that state gets.
Economically, it's great for them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All the people that get there, and, they vote two different ways there. They have 681 precincts in Iowa. The Republicans vote by secret ballot,
Right.
and the Democrats vote by presidential preference. So if they're Democratic candidates, they push the votes to the one who needs to get the votes. So, it's, I don't know how New Hampshire's doing their caucuses, but I can tell you, Iowa, I don't know, why can't they just run like an election?
Well, you got, what I found amazing, this is just FYI, that in Iowa there are 99 counties.
Yeah.
99 counties. And we're 20,
23 here.
in Maryland.
Yeah.
They're a little bit
99
larger
counties.
than we are. And a lot of those counties probably have a population of 2,
A lot of
That's
farmers.
true. That's true. There's
Well,
not,
they
there's
have a
not
lot of
many.
farmers.
You're
not
right.
counting the cows.
Right,
And I'm not
right,
sure what percentage of a vote a cow merits, but
Yeah.
A lot of ethanol.
But I
is
just
produced
thought
out of
90.
there.
When I read that, I was like, 99 counties. Jesus.
And there's a big push
if
about
corn
ethanol there.
could vote.
Yes, if corn could vote. Yes.
So there's a big push about ethanol. Should we get rid of it? Should we not? And you saw Donald Trump come out and say he supports the ethanol, and a lot of people were like, we need to get rid of ethanol in our gas. So are they just focusing on the farmers there to get their votes, like the evangelicals? So
Well, and I think that's part of it. And to me, I think that obviously because they're campaigning in Iowa, they're going to address issues that are going to be pertinent to the state. But ultimately, I think, Jim, you're going to have the last, well, I'll take the last word, I guess, on that.
yeah.
You
Next
don't
up-
burn your food.
There you go.
Sorry. I had to do that.
We got plenty. You always get the last word. Next up, a bear of a problem. Hunting for a solution. We're back in 3.